What's up? What's up? We are in a very different location today with Otson. If you're on YouTube, you may have seen his face. He knows when the camera is on him, always. But welcome back to the Beyond the Coach podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kelsey Nanini.
And I'm Chris Sweet.
And we're on my couch today. A little backstory. We would be in my office. However, I used to have, when we were together in January, we had these two vibey chairs. They're like burnt orange, looked really cute with my husband's office background. Well, one of my cats peed on one of the chairs. And if you know anything about cat pee,
Womp womp.
wah, wah. So we got rid of one of them, and I was like, Chris, I don't have location. So we're just gonna do some vibey. We're gonna do a vibey podcast today. And I'm pretty excited about it.
A cozy coach podcast.
Yeah, cozy coach. It may be
Cozy coach in the corner of the couch. Cozy coach corner couch.
Wow. Say
Cozy
that
coach-
5 times fast.
Cozy coach corner couch. Cozy coach.
Also, what was I gonna say? But it's like 108 degrees out right now, but we are in blankets. Bet your ass. And with sweatshirts on. But it's cold in here. AC really does something to you.
Correct. But I'm excited.
I'm excited too.
We are playing a game. We've never played a game on this podcast before, but we are going to play Never Have I Ever Coach Edition. And I asked ChatGPT to produce just a bunch of Never Have I Ever scenarios. I have not read through this list. I have not read it to Kelsey. So we're just going in blind, and I'm just going to read line by line. And we are just really going to expose ourselves today.
I'm excited.
On the Cozy Coach corner couch.
Yes.
Okay. Line 1. Never have I ever sent a check-in response to the wrong client.
You know what? I sent the wrong Loom check-in one time on accident.
I have too, which
Yeah.
is the check-in response. So
Yep. Yep. I definitely did that one time, and I was like, oh my gosh, please ignore that. That was not for you.
I had to have a client tell me it wasn't theirs.
I caught it, luckily. But yeah, it definitely did that. Actually, do you want to know what? I think no, never mind. But that was back when I think I was sending it via email. Because, or like maybe it was Thinkific message. That's what it was. Thinkific.
Thinkific.
Trainerize.
I was going to Trainerized?
Trainerize message. Gosh. It was before Everfit. Like you were on the check-in form.
No. I've done it with Loom on Everfit.
Oh, nice. Like
Yeah.
on the check-in form itself.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's fine. It's okay. We all make mistakes. Never have I ever coached a client I knew wasn't ready, but took them anyways. I think we all have.
I mean, yeah, for sure. Definitely in the beginning of my coaching, I feel like 2023, I gained a little more of a backbone. And I was like, hey, like, I'm not the best coach for you, but here is a coach who is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to put up with that.
Never have I ever signed a client without a single sales call. I've
Yeah.
signed a client over messages.
Multiple.
Yeah. You can do it
If you just spicy chat. Come on.
I know. I'm actually
Chat, give me some more spice.
get spicier.
I really want to just like out myself.
Spicier questions. Chat. Let's see. Oh, yes.
They're
is
like,
what it
never have
says.
ever had a relationship with a client. It's like, whoa, not that spicy, chat.
Here's the spicier, more savage never
Oh
have I
my
ever.
gosh.
For coaches who can handle a little heat, these will get people squirming, laughing, and actually talking.
Perfect. Perfect, chat.
Okay. Never have I ever sold a program I knew wasn't worth the price I charged.
No. No, I've definitely, if anything,
I've
undercharged
undercharged.
for a long time. So, I mean, I guess if they're saying that.
I used to charge $75. It's
Mine
fine.
was like 150 nutrition, only 250 full coaching.
I've been there.
I think 200 full coaching too.
Never have I never have I ever acted like a launch was going great but hadn't sold any spots yet.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure.
We've all been there.
Yeah. It's
You're
fine.
gonna have
Don't
some
feel embarrassed.
that flop.
Yeah.
But it's
And
fine.
you're more, I think that's a good learning moment for anyone listening to this is like, you're always going to be more excited about your launches than everyone else. So
Oh, yeah.
just be excited no matter what and pretend like everything's fine.
As we're in the middle of a launch. But our launch is going well.
Our launch is going great.
We have sold spots.
By the time you're listening to this, you only have 4 days left to sign up for our cohort. So you can click the link in the show
also
notes to
be
sign
a
up.
cozy coach corner couch list.
You could be
Zevia drinking coach.
an Alani
It's fine.
at 4 p.m. Okay, it's half an Alani.
Never have I ever drank an Alani at 4 p.m. before going to dinner at 7 p.m.
I haven't, and that's the only reason I am. Whereas we're going to dinner at 7. I can't hang anymore, guys. I'm gonna be 30 in 17 days.
Whoa. Never have I ever turned 30 in 17 days.
Damn, I'm gonna replay this podcast for you in 2 years.
Let's see. Never have I ever made a post out of spite towards a client who didn't resign.
Oh, I don't know, but I have made posts out of spite, like
I have made
about
posts out of
clients.
Spite, for sure.
Not for not re-signing though. Like not, I would say, I made one time. This is actually a funny story if we are allowed to do that.
We can tell stories.
I have one client, and I think I grew so much thick skin. I actually do have pretty thick skin normally, but this client, he dropped that so nicely for you in your lap. He gave me a run for my money. I had initially put him with one of my assistant coaches, and then I took him over because he was just kind of giving her an issue. And he complained that he never saw any results with my program, but he never did anything. So I made a post one time saying that, like, hey, you can hire a coach, but that doesn't mean you're going to get results. And he commented on it, and he like chewed me out, like long comment. I blocked him.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So that was fun.
It's funny when you do make a post, not even about someone in particular, like a client in particular, and then clients message you. And they're like, if this was about me, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it wasn't about you.
It wasn't, but if you think it is,
you actually would.
That's a problem.
No, if it was you. I've definitely made a post out of spite, but I don't think I've ever done it revolving a resign.
No.
Also, I feel like the clients I post about out of spite are clients that I don't want to resign.
Yes, for sure. I haven't had to do that in a while. I will say I haven't done that for a long time.
Yeah. Let's see. Never have I ever taught boundaries I wasn't actually holding myself, which is the very thing we teach as coaches.
And probably why we do coach it, because we did it at one point. For sure. Yeah.
Have done.
Hate to say it, but definitely did it.
Done. More like this spicy level chat. Copy and paste. Got it in all capitals. You want spicy, slightly petty, if we're being really honest, coach edition. Not fluffy, not basic. I skipped a check-in once, but the stuff we don't say out loud.
Yeah. Yes, chat. Exactly. We've been trying to get at that.
Oh, wow. Never have I ever made a post because I lost a lead to another coach. They sign on for another coach.
I don't think I have, but that is really, really irritating.
It is. Never have I ever called out a shady coaching practice because someone stole a client from me.
No, but I have called out a coaching practice. Not by name. I would never do that. But
we just make content about
ghost coaching.
NASM.
Oh, we did do that, which is funny because they are a certifying body that is our continuing education and beyond the cert. But not another coaching company, just a certifying body.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it's only their textbook.
Let's see. Never have I ever shared a value post after stalking my competition and feeling insecure. So I'm taking that as never have I ever like made a post related to somebody else's post to kind of like be in
Like stealing
competition.
content, basically.
Yeah, maybe like never have
But
I ever
stealing
stole
content ideas.
content.
I haven't stole it verbatim, but like Annie Miller, I love Annie Miller. So like I'll like get inspiration from her posts.
Like the ideas.
Yeah.
Also, in this day and age of social media, nothing's original, if I'm being honest.
No.
Like you're scrolling, there's the trends, you're saving the verbiage, you're saving the hooks, like everybody's content.
That's why I was doing like the movie voiceovers for so long and having characters, because no one has danced to High School Musical the way I have.
We have to make that.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make that. Yeah, tell me how you really feel, Hudson. Never have I ever forced myself to post just because I saw my biz bestie doing it. So never have I ever forced myself to post just because someone else was posting, or like you were jealous of someone else.
I don't think so.
I don't think I did either.
But I mean, like, I definitely feel like I've forced myself to post in the past, but not as a result of someone else.
Yeah. Never have I ever pretended a client story was about a current client when it wasn't.
Oh, yeah. Using client examples
Yeah.
from past clients. Yeah. But I mean, they were real stories.
Yes,
Just
real
maybe
stories.
not
They just
current.
weren't current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Never have I ever secretly hoped a difficult client wouldn't resign.
Oh, 100%. I don't even offer it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you came up on your 6 months. It was really great. I wish you the best of luck.
It's when you don't even give them the option to continue. It's
No.
just
And I don't send an exit survey either.
facts.
I'm like, I don't need feedback from you.
Have done that. Never have I ever delayed a response because I was annoyed with a client.
I actually recommend you do that.
Yeah.
I actually recommend you take some time if you're annoyed.
We teach our coaches that because reactivity gets you nowhere.
So we've both definitely done that. And you should take some time. Same thing with, like, we tell our coaches to also, like, if you have a client that really drives you up the wall, like, do their check-in first.
Mm-hmm.
Get it out of the way while you're fresh and level-headed. However, there's two sides of the coin to that. Because sometimes if you start your day on a negative note, it doesn't always continue positively. So
Sometimes I do it last.
find what works for you on that one.
I find I do it last because then I can just shut my computer after.
That's also fair. Maybe before your lunch break. Maybe do it then.
Right then and there. Or before bedtime.
While you're in bed.
While you're in bed, just answer. Typed message instead of Loom sometimes. Never have I ever celebrated a draining client leaving my roster. I have very much
With a
celebrated.
glass of wine.
Yeah. Never have I ever written an extra nice response hoping a client would post about it.
I'm not that. No.
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 Never have I ever resent my own testimonial. I don't like that one. We're deleting that. Never have I ever coached with resentment because I discounted the price too much. I have.
I think in the beginning, like, you like slowly stop giving as much value because you're like, dude, you're paying me $100.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. When I was over delivering and undercharging, it was just burnout central. So.
And then you lose all those clients because you're like, I'm gonna charge you $50 more a month. They're like, I can't do that. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
You can't just not eat out twice this month and pay for $50 more? Okay.
Yep.
Got it. I'll just go fuck myself.
Just like
It's an Unhinged Coach podcast.
Did like that. Never have I ever kept a client on my roster just for the revenue, even when it wasn't aligned.
I mean, yeah, I gotta finish out the contract.
I was gonna say I've definitely continued through contracts.
Yeah. I
I
keep my promises.
Don't get me wrong.
I've fired a client.
I have resigned. I mean, I have fired clients.
Yeah.
I have re-signed clients that I didn't want on my roster out of needing the revenue.
I think that
But
also
I
there's
still
layers
coach
to that.
them.
Yeah. Like, I think if you really don't vibe with someone, but they're not like causing you emotional damage, then like you can still coach them. And if anything, that's going to help you grow as a coach. But like if they're causing you literal stress every day and every time you see their name pop up, you actually like want to go crawl into a hole. It's just like, I think it's really making that decision for yourself.
Make the best decision for your mental health.
Yeah.
Never have I ever checked a client's Instagram to see if they were following another coach. I definitely have.
You have?
Yeah,
That's
for
funny.
sure. I'll do research. I do research on
I'll do it for sales calls.
Yeah.
And then I'll also see if a coach is following them. Because if a coach is following them, they may have worked with them in the past.
Yes.
Or I don't know another reason to follow people, but
yeah. Never have I ever lowered my price out of fear during a sales call. I definitely have.
And
like on the sales call.
Yeah, when they're like, you're getting the price and you're like, they're not gonna fucking pay for this.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Not anymore, but I did.
Never have I ever signed a client out of pure ego because I wanted to win the sale. Like, I've definitely signed people into my program that I didn't want there.
I'll say that's easier. Well, I won't do that anymore, but when you have assistant coaches, it's a little easier to do that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, they might be better for them. When I was by myself, I was like, I don't know. But you do it anyway. Like, if someone's on the call, I'm not going to be like, you know what?
Yeah. Never have I ever told myself it's just a quiet season when I was actually slacking.
Anything I had to tell myself. For sure. I think a lot of coaches are doing that right now.
Yeah. No.
And it's a lot of people I've noticed are blaming the economy, which I get. Also, it's expensive to live, but I don't think it's impossible because there's still people that are hitting. I know coaches who are hitting 300K months.
Hot
It's
take.
not me, but
Hot take. You know the Kim K sound where it's like, nobody wants to work these days. It's that. It's nobody wants to take accountability sometimes and do the work. And people also, I don't know if it's just like, I think it's hard in an industry that's ever changing. Like I was talking to a coaching friend the other day, how we were like, wow, it's been, 6 years of us in the coaching space. But when you think of 6 years really isn't a long time.
No, and
It's
a
not
lot
like
has
we've
changed.
been in this for 20 years, but
Yeah.
like back in 2019, 2020, I could post on my story, hey, I have 10 spots open and I'd have 30 applications roll in.
For sure.
Whereas nowadays you could post it and it's just crickets sometimes. So
Yep.
It's hard. It's hard, but then you can't blame the industry because you just have to learn the industry, I think, and you have to figure out what works.
And find how to stand out.
Yeah, for sure. That didn't matter in 2020.
2020, you could just be breathing and people would hand you their credit card.
For real.
What a time.
Never have I ever extended a program for free hoping it would turn into a testimonial.
I have extended someone for a month. They like took I forget what the circumstance was, but there was a reason I extended them for a month for free. They had a really bad experience. It was when I got rid of my team, disbanded, and I wanted to keep them on. And I was like, hey, I'll give you a month free because of what happened. And then they did stay with me. That's the only time because neither party was being honest with me about what happened. So I did have to do that.
I have had to extend programs for clients who were dissatisfied with assistant coaches.
Yep.
I've just had to do that.
Yeah. And then you have to take it on. Or did you give it to an assistant coach?
I usually took on those clients. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Never have I ever called out burnout culture while secretly being burnt out. Like you're calling it out, but you're like actually burnt out.
I think I called it out after I was burned out and recognized it. Like I don't think I've done it during. I know people who do it though.
I don't think I have done it.
I like only went through a very small phase of.
I'm also a very transparent person. Like I share everything about my life on the internet. So like if I'm burnt out, you guys know.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, exactly. Like, well, I think there was a time where I didn't know I was burnt out, but I wasn't calling out burnout culture because I also didn't agree that was a thing.
Well, burnout culture.
There's no such thing.
Burnout culture in 2020 though was like the norm. Like the baseline was burning yourself out.
Yeah.
To function. Now it's like burnout is like we need to respect our mental health as coaches.
Yeah.
That vibe. Never have I ever called out income post flexing after mine flopped.
It was.
So basically never have I ever called out like someone else flaunting their like income, like, oh, income doesn't matter. Like they're flexing like a high month, but really you just like flopped, but you're like calling that out as a negative. I've never done that.
I've never done that.
I don't
thought it, but I've never I've seen it and been like, well, shit, what am I doing wrong? Kind of thing. But I've never said anything about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, good for them.
Yeah. Never have I ever added only 2 spots left to drive FOMO when I had plenty of space. I think every coach does this.
Yeah.
Every coach says there's only 2 spots left. There's so many more spots left.
Yeah, it's a really good tactic. Although I will say, for Chris and I's roster specifically, we aren't lying. Total roster for our team, absolutely, we have plenty of space, but for ours, it's not a lie. If I say I open up a spot, it's literally because I have a spot.
Yeah. Is now a good time to tell them I literally only have 3 spots left?
I was about to say, is now a good time to say I have like 2 to 3, depending on who you are.
Yeah, we've got minimal spots. So yes,
dwindling.
Kelsey and I are not lying now,
Which is cool.
but we have. But I think coaches do this. It's a tactic. Also, your
Yeah.
audience doesn't always understand that. As coaches, we pick it up, and I think
I think people are waking up on it more now.
that's fair.
I think that, like you said, like if you said 10 spots or whatever, you get a bunch of applications. I think since like 2024, people have slowly picked up on like, but do you really?
Yeah, for sure. But we really only have like 4 or 5 spots left.
I will say when we say it, it's a real thing. Like with our cohort, we quite literally, I'm not sure what it's at now when you're listening to this podcast, but as of right now, today.
What's in here in my mouth?
Oh, that happens. Yeah. Today, Friday the 13th, June,
We have 9.
we have 9 spots left in our cohort. I'm not sure I'm just going to manifest that if you're listening to it now, we have 5 left.
Yeah. It's actually probably going to be likely because we have a couple calls. So
Jump on
anyways,
it.
moving on. Never have I ever reused old posts because I didn't have new ones.
I don't think that's a problem. Well, I'm not saying that they think it's a problem, but like
I've done that.
recycle your posts. Like you don't have to come up with brand new original ideas every time. I'm about to do it this whole weekend.
There's a physical therapist that I follow that literally repurposes their content. Like I swear every 3 months. Like it's the same cycle of posts. And guess what? The engagement's great on all
Annie
of them.
does it.
Yep.
Every time she relaunches Built by Annie and like also peer programming.
Yep. Just people do it.
Dude, it's so
Nothing wrong
smart.
with
If
it.
you have a topic, reel, carousel post, static post, like do it all 4 times.
Yep. Never have I ever joined a mastermind just to get in proximity to someone bigger. So basically for fame, getting to someone closer. I've never done that.
Mm-mm.
I've invested in mentorship or masterminds because I want to work with who's leading the mastermind.
Same. And like I think it's really cool like being with Kendall and having someone with a big audience that you're like, wow, like I actually like just talk to you on a regular basis and you're like just a normal person.
Or like people look at her like she's a celebrity, but to you and I we're like
she's like
so normal.
just a normal
Yeah.
a normal gal that's like, I mean, she's amazing.
No, for sure.
Nothing short
But
of
you
amazing.
meet someone
but,
and you're like, wow, they're just
you're
a
like, wow,
person.
you're just a regular little human.
just a regular gal.
Yeah.
Never have I ever coached on boundaries while ignoring my own mentor's advice. Or maybe like ignoring my own mentor's boundaries? Question mark chat?
I don't know what that question is, chat. I don't actually ignore I don't ignore my current mentor's advice. I just don't always put it into practice like I should. Sorry if you're listening to this, Kendall.
Fair.
Like I know I need to be doing it, but then I'm like, oh shit, I forgot about that.
I agree with that. I would agree. But I think everybody falls into that. It's like clients who don't perfectly track their macros.
You're human, guys.
Yeah.
We all are.
Never have I ever DM'd my business bestie screenshots of a cringe coach post.
Oh, I for sure do that all the time.
was
And
gonna
I
say-
worry now about the screenshot thing on Instagram.
Oh, I forgot.
But I don't think it's an issue. I don't think it's happening.
You and I do it all.
Because I know for sure someone's screenshotting my shit, and I have not gotten any notifications.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe that feature just hasn't rolled out.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Never have I ever hired a mentor because I felt behind, not because I wanted to. I definitely have hired people out of scarcity. I definitely have. Not big investments though. They're not like I'm spending like $20,000 on a mentor.
I've only had 3 business, well, kind of 4. I've had a sales coach, and I think all of them were for reasons of a season.
Yeah.
Specifically, like my first business coach, I was like, I desperately needed to know what a business was because at the time I was like just sucking around. And then the second one, I was like legit burnt out. And then Kendall currently, I actually wasn't even looking for a business coach, and I was just like, okay, fuck it, let's do it.
I think that's also how you and I started talking more.
Kendall, well, business coaching, because we talked about
you and I, yep. That's how Kelsey and I landed on
how we're here on this couch corner coziness. Cozy couch corner.
Couch corner.
Cozy.
Oh my God. We're having a glitch in the system.
Yikes.
Never have I ever said, I'm just focusing on delivery right now when I couldn't sell.
I'm just focusing on delivery right now and I couldn't sell. No, but I have had phases when I went off on my own where it was actually kind of awesome to be like, I'm actually not taking on clients right now because I'm completely full, but you can join a wait list. And that was like that for a while when I disbanded because I took on a ton of clients.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool.
I don't know if I've ever done that.
I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a vibe.
To be fair, I've never scaled back down, so I'm sure if I scaled back down, instead I just kept scaling, and then
Yeah.
that sucked.
But I like this a lot more. Like, it's kind of fun. Like, having a team is much better than being by yourself.
But not having an absurd big team that we were like burnt out from.
Yeah,
before.
and a team you
Like?
I mean, I liked my team. I shouldn't say that because I did really actually. They weren't bad afterwards. Anyways,
So much
there's some
backstory.
tea in here.
There's some tea.
Damn.
Piping. Never have I ever followed a coach just to hate watch their stories. I definitely have.
I've muted when I start to feel that way. I'm like, you know what? I probably shouldn't. This isn't good for my soul.
I have muted, and we talk very openly on this. Like, if it was like a never have I ever like muted a business friend online or like a coaching friend, like I've muted people.
Quite a few,
But
I
I
still
definitely-
have them muted.
I definitely have followed people, coaches, out of like wanting the tea. Like not hate watching maybe is the right word, but like tea watching.
Mhm.
Like I want to know the tea. I'm also very much into pop culture. So drama is like it's like in my bloodstream.
You know who I did it with for a while and I unfollowed both of them was the Aaron Kylene and do you know them?
No.
And what's his name? He was like a bodybuilder. She's the blonde. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Wait, are you talking about?
She's lived in Colorado. They broke up and they were both claiming that there was like abuse on each side.
Oh wait, yes.
I
yes,
did
yes.
definitely like
Okay.
keep following her too long.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I should probably not
Yeah.
watch this.
I have. Yes, I watched the whole YouTube video.
Yeah, so did I. I was like, this
We
is
talked about this.
pathetic. This is not something I need to spend my time doing, but here we are.
Yes. Let's see what other spicy ones we have. Never have I ever used raising my prices soon to drive sales when I had no intention of raising them.
Oh no, if I say it, I'm definitely raising them.
I would say I've always raised
I'm not fucking I'm not lying to you. If they're being raised on social media, they're being raised in my Stripe account.
The Stripe account is also
That's not the strategy I'm using.
we're about to change the price.
Yeah.
Never have I ever given extra access to a client hoping they'd resign. I definitely have done this.
Yeah. Over delivery to resign.
Yep.
For sure.
Never have I ever let a client slide on a boundary because I wanted them to like me. I would say in the beginning of my coaching, I was much more of a people-pleasing type coach because I didn't know how to coach. And I think I was too focused on wanting people to pay me
Yeah.
that I was like less focused on the boundary, which is why we teach boundaries now to
Yep.
coaches and why you should do it from the get-go because it would have saved me a lot of time and money. It would have saved me a lot of money actually.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have definitely.
I think I was there when I did the Fit by Katie thing, and it was more like not group coaching, but very minimal effort coaching, and I put forth a lot more effort than I needed to. So then I think when I got to my own one-on-one coaching, I was like, no, like no, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of had a better backbone because of that experience.
Yeah. Never have I ever ignored a client's red flags during onboarding because I needed the money. Again, I think it goes back to like I've definitely onboarded people that probably shouldn't have been on my team, but like in a way we always talk about how you kind of have to coach a lot of people to know how
Yeah.
to coach sometimes. Like when you're first
Yeah.
getting established, you're literally working with a lot of people that you actually kind of don't like sometimes.
And I will say, hot take, if you are onboarding and you're seeing red flags, I play the other side of it. I'm like, did I onboard them clearly? Did I do a good enough job?
Yeah.
So
I agree with that.
I don't know.
That's a good point. Let's see. Never have I ever said
You can do it. I believe in you.
subtly. Never have I ever subtly.
Subtly, deadly. Sudsy.
Never have I ever. Is it
Subtly.
Why?
Subtly.
spelled
See,
weird?
why is it subtly? Subtly. Why is the English language like this? It's
I'm not
subtly.
even gonna look at it. I'm not gonna look at the word. Never have I ever subtly Suddenly?
I know, but now look at, and I don't even know an antonym for that or synonym for that. Low key. Never have ever low key.
Never have I low key. Okay, for guys, for reference, I'm trying to say SUBTLY. I can say it if I'm not looking at it.
Subtly. But like, why is it spelled that way?
Subtly.
Okay, this is why I'm so glad that I was born into the English language, because I give you props. If you had to learn English as a second language, I quite literally think it may be impossible.
Never have I ever low key guilt tripped a client into staying.
I don't think guilt trip, but I'm like, hey, you need to get your shit together, and you're not going to do it on your own.
Yeah, I've definitely
not a guilt trip, just
push people.
Yeah, just like a more like a hey, like
I would like them to know though, I'm not pushing them to stay out of my income. I'm pushing them to stay out of like
I need help.
I've definitely re-signed clients out of needing the income, even if I didn't want to re-sign the client. But I've never pushed a client to re-sign out of me necessarily needing to make more, because I feel like I don't push those people. It's kind of like I'm a little more casual with the re-signs. But I definitely have like pushed clients who need to resign.
Yeah. If I'm pushing you, it's because I genuinely care about you at this point, and it's probably
it's a form of self-love. No, it's a form of love.
Like if I'm pushing you a ton at this point in my career, it is not because I need you to stay from income. It's because I genuinely think you need to stay for your own good.
Yeah. Yeah. Never have I ever told a client you can't out, and I don't like that. We're skipping that one. Never have I ever bought a mastermind spot because nope, we're skipping that. These are dumb. Come on, chat. We're not selling 5-figure masterminds. I don't know what chat thinks I'm doing.
I would love that, but no.
Never have I ever thought this coach is so overrated while watching their launch crush mine.
Not necessarily. Like, I think that there's a lot of programs out there that are just really good at selling, and they don't have good programs, but like, I'm not like petty about it. I'm just like, wow, like this is such a scam. But I think I see through those things. Like, I can tell from your social media if you're going to give me what I need.
I agree. I feel like I have a pretty good like read on people.
Yeah.
Or like sense of.
I almost feel bad for the people buying into it.
Yeah.
More than I think that coach is petty. I'm like, you know what? Good for you for being good at sales and marketing.
There was a lead one time who I had a sales call with, and then she was like, I need to think about it. Told me no. And then the next week I see, and she's posted on, you know how like we'll share like, oh, welcome to the team. Yep. Another team posted her, but I can't say the team, but I'll tell you the team after. And I was like, I already know this girl is not going to get what she needs. You're going to hate
what you just got.
Yeah.
That is the worst feeling, actually, when you see that. You're like, damn.
Like, I wish I could just be
what did I say wrong?
Hey. But it was like, at the time, the team was big. And I was like, they definitely followed, like, joined them for the following.
Yeah.
You know? Like when people just join programs for followings where you're like, oh, it's because this person's, like, famous.
You're getting ghost coaching.
Bullshit. Anyways.
Not petty at all.
Not petty at all. Never have I ever liked another coach's post just to look supportive, even though I don't like them.
No, I don't. If I don't like you, I probably don't follow you anymore.
I would agree with that.
Like, I've cleared my Instagram pretty well because I'm just like, you know what? It's not really worth it.
Although
I'll go and stalk you, though.
For sure. I will say probably years ago, I was liking people's posts that I didn't like.
Yeah.
But like, I have matured in the sense that I just purge my social media from people I don't. Not that I don't like people sometimes. It's just that like, it doesn't serve me anymore to follow that.
Yeah, it just annoys me now.
Let's see. Oh, wait. It hopped me around.
Chat. Why you gotta do it like that?
Why you doing that?
Don't do that.
Never have I ever smiled on Zoom and said, that's a great question, while thinking, what the fuck are you talking about?
For sure I've done that.
Fun.
More of that, chat.
I
100% have done that. Yeah, no doubt. I think that everybody has done that. Yeah. Whether it's on Zoom, you're reading a check-in.
Yeah, for sure. If someone says no to that, you're lying.
You're not human. And no. I know y'all are.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Never have I ever felt personally offended that a client didn't post about me in their wins? Like if they posted on social media, like let's say never have I ever felt personally offended if a client like posted them working out and didn't tag me.
Um, not really. I think some clients don't because they don't want to annoy you. I've had clients say that to me. Like, hey, sorry, I stopped tagging you. I didn't want to annoy you. I'm like, I
want
want
that.
to see your stuff.
Please tag us.
Yeah.
I will say I've definitely felt personally offended if someone tagged me or didn't tag me, but they posted as if from the perspective that they like
Have done the
have
thing by
done the
themselves.
thing themselves, you know? Like when
Yeah.
they like frame it a certain way or word it a certain way where you're
Yeah.
like, you have me. I'm watching.
For sure.
Like that kind of vibe.
100%.
Never have I ever posted my clients don't obsess over the scale when I secretly was. I've definitely had moments of insecurity in my fitness journey where like I've obsessed over the scale probably early on, like early on in my coaching where I was probably insecure in my own self. But now I'm very vocal about my like challenges of my health journey.
Yeah. Wait, I don't understand what the question was.
So basically, like you're posting, my clients don't obsess over the scale.
Oh.
When secretly, like you are behind the scenes, like in your own health journey.
Not since I've been a coach. Like when I was a personal trainer.
Yeah.
And at Orange Theory.
Yeah.
But once I became a coach, I like really took the performance aspect side where I'm like, dude, the scale doesn't really matter that much. Like I weigh the same amount I did when I was chunky. And I like have a way better relationship with my body than before. So
Yeah. I will say for me, it was when I got my gut infection in Mexico in 2022. I was obsessing over the scale because I gained like 15 pounds like within 30 days. And it was while in a deficit. It was like a whole thing where I was definitely posting like client wins and the fact that I don't like let my clients obsess, but I was definitely obsessing. But I got help. I went and hired somebody to help me with my problems.
Yeah.
Which I think is important.
For sure.
Never have I ever coached a cut I knew wasn't necessary just because it sold better.
No, I've never done that, but I have put a client into a cut that I knew wasn't ready because she kept bothering me about it. And at some point you have to be like, cool, let's do it. We'll do it your way. And when it doesn't work, we'll do it I kind of say it like that of like, hey, let's try your way. And if your way doesn't end up working, how do you feel about doing it my way?
Yeah.
Because at some point when someone's bothering you every single week, and lo and behold, what happened? Nothing. She didn't end up seeing results and we got out of the cut.
Yep. I'm usually pretty vocal when I'm doing that though. I'm usually pretty much like, hey, we'll try your way.
Yep. I say it the exact verbatim, like, we'll try your way. And then we're going to do it my way.
And then we'll go from there.
Because coach is always right. Not always. I shouldn't say.
Never have I ever written, great job this week in a check-in that I knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't.
Fuck no, I'm calling you out if you did a bad job.
Yeah.
Unless you need some like gentle coaching that week. Like if you're really going through it, yes. But like most likely if you just crumbled and didn't do anything that you knew you were supposed to, like I'm calling you out.
I agree.
And you need to be called out.
I usually know when I need to push and when I need to chill.
For sure.
Never have I ever said no worries at all in a message when I was absolutely annoyed. I definitely have said no worries when I've been absolutely annoyed, but I'm pretty vocal about it now.
Yeah.
Or I'll say no worries to someone if I don't want to deal with it. Like if I'm like, and we're saying a message in general. This isn't just clients. I'm saying like some DMs I get. I'm like, no worries.
They cancel the call for the second time. Actually, no, I've never said no worries after that. I'm like, hey, I don't think this is the right time. Maybe go.
I just don't think this is the right fit.
Yeah.
Never have I ever replied such a great question in Slack and immediately texted my mentor for help answering it. I've definitely gone to mentors for
more of like sales coaching stuff, like sales and marketing stuff.
Yeah.
If I feel stuck on a conversation, I'll for sure.
To be fair, I never was mentored in my coaching because I had to figure it out for myself. Hence why we coach coaches.
Right. Now, so. And if you have those things that you deal with, you actually do have us in your back pocket for those situations.
Yeah. Never Never have I ever said, "You've got this," after realizing I had no clue how they'd pull it off.
Encouragement is important, but yeah, I probably have done that.
Yeah.
But more of like a little bit more of a push. Like, you got this. You just have to put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Get uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Kind of things.
I agree with that. Never have I ever hyped inboxes on fire when I had 2 leads and one was a spam bot. I've definitely like overhyped at times that business is busier than it is.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Oh, so many of you guys have been asking." No, I didn't.
It's like 2
My
people.
mom DM'd me.
Yeah.
That's who's asking. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll do a few more. Let's see. You know, chat might not be the best at the spiciness of coaching related stuff. I bet if I create some spiciness towards life, they'd really
get you.
rock our world here. Never have I ever written great consistency this week, knowing their food log looked like a crime scene.
Actually, I've not done that.
I haven't done that. If someone's stuff is bad.
Says because I've had this situation happen where a client's like, I was really consistent this week. I'm proud of myself. And then I'm like, in what world? I'll give feedback on that. Like, you know what? You did improve from last week, which is awesome. However, here's the things we still need to work on. Like, I think it's really important to like, if your client's excited about something, like give them some praise for like their progress, but don't give them false hope. Right, Hudson? He's like staring at me.
He said, "Right, Mom."
He said, I agree with that. That was bars.
You so right.
Yeah, you too, sweet baby.
Never have I ever looked at a coach's post and thought you were the last person who should be teaching that.
For sure have. I for sure have done that. Yeah, absolutely.
Once again, hence why we are in the business we're in.
Yeah. And we listen and we don't judge and we give feedback if you're saying things that you shouldn't be on social media.
And I will pride us though in that we really help coaches stay in their scope.
Yeah.
Because that's
stay in their scope and also to hold themselves to the standard they're holding their clients to.
Correct. Very much. Let's see. I just want to talk in an accent.
It's so fun. Did you know that one summer I literally talked in like a cowboy Southern accent the entire summer? Going into my senior year of high school, like me and my friends, we literally talked in an accent the entire summer. My parents still talk about it.
Podcast where we just talk like this the whole time.
I reckon everyone would hate us.
Cheerio.
Hello, puppet.
Never have I ever muted a client on Instagram after they didn't re-sign so I wouldn't see their glow up without me.
The level of petty. I have not done that.
I have not done that.
No.
I've definitely unfollowed.
Yeah, people that I'm just like,
like,
it doesn't really apply to me anymore.
Never have I ever wanted to comment not how that works on a coach's educational post.
Yeah. There's one I showed you today. Oh, yeah. Then you were like, I'm gonna make content about that.
Oh yeah. I did say that. I did do that.
I do it. They're actually almost weekly. I'm like, damn, I really wish I could make a response post to this.
Yes. Yes.
But I don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, we're gonna do one last round of really, 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 really spicy, deeply petty. You will lose your friends in this game.
Oh damn! Oh damn!
I would like everybody to know, if you're not watching, I'm reading from chat.
Yeah, we're not coming up with this.
This is just. Never have I ever looked at a check-in and thought, why are you even paying me if you won't follow through? I have one
for sure.
100%. 100.
I've actually said that to clients in a check-in. I'm like, is there a reason you're paying me? Because you're not doing anything.
Actually.
So, sorry, sometimes I am really blunt.
Literally. Never have I ever finished a check-in and thought, no way this client is getting results next phase. I mean, if they're not doing shit, then,
yeah.
like, But I'll tell them that.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what you expect from me. I'm not I'm not the fairy godmother. I'm not going to just grant you your wish.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, Never have I ever sold a deep support offer and immediately regretted how much access I promised.
No, because I really think through my offer to make sure it's actually what I want. Like I've never done like weekly Zooms for someone.
I did when I first started my business. And that's what I do regret.
Yeah, I don't think I've really considered what I offer and don't.
You know the scheduling chaos that happens when you have 20 clients weekly that you're offering calls to?
How long were they?
Like 30 to 60 minutes.
Oh my God.
I know.
How do you even find time to program, to scale?
And I would like everybody to know I was charging sub $300 for that. Yep, I know.
That's like $800 worth.
I used to host group coaching where people would get monthly calls with me and they paid $75 for the group coaching. One-on-one calls with me. Insane.
No, absolutely not. Unsubscribe.
Never have I ever made a story saying DM me if you have questions when no one was DMing me. Correct.
Oh, I've for sure done that. And the question box. Oh, I have a good one.
Never have you ever put
your own questions in a question box? I for sure have.
Every coach does.
My question box though used to pop the fuck off. Like I'd put a question box out there and I'm like answering all these for free today, and it would pop off. I would get 50 questions. Nowadays, it's none. Maybe one. Maybe one. And it's from a client.
I get the most amount of responses in my question boxes when it's related to anything but fitness.
Yeah. Where should I go on my honeymoon? What should I register for on my bridal shower or whatever else it is? Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Ultra spicy.
Will they actually be? I feel like chat has included extra spicy ones in each round, but only like one.
I agree.
I mean, if you're scrolling that far, they must not be that spicy.
I know. They're just not that spicy.
Chat.
Never have I ever told a client I had a full roster when I didn't. I just didn't want them in. No. I'm pretty like, when I hired assistant coaches, my roster, like I did close it. I wasn't not taking people because I didn't want them.
In the past I have. Like if I can't, but in the past I also would take on way more clients than I needed.
Yeah.
Like way more clients. Now, like now we don't take on lifestyle clients. It's just coaches. So like I don't have capacity for anyone else. So it really is a real thing now. But I definitely did that early on in the days. I'm like, I don't think you're gonna be a good fit, but you'll be a really good fit for my assistant coach.
Yeah. I think that I've done that. Never have I ever thought, thank God no one knows how chaotic my back end offer is.
No.
Like the back ends of the business. I mean, I've definitely had moments of chaos where like I was living off of a disorganized Google Drive before Monday.com existed.
Yeah. There was a time when I didn't have a back end system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all the ones that chat had.
Fun.
Is there any ones that you want to add?
I mean that one about the question box.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I feel like we did pretty good.
I think we did really good. The question box one was a good addition.
The question box. Definitely have done that.
Really good addition.
Oddly enough.
For sure.
Especially if it's about like launches. I've done that in the past. Like, how much
Drop your questions here. How much is it? Are payment plans available? Will you hop on a call? Are the macros really custom? Are the workout plans custom?
When I consistently started doing that on my own question box just to like prompt people to do stuff.
Yep.
I stopped. Like I stopped doing question boxes.
Yeah.
It was sad.
I know. And then you get advice to do them and I'm like, but why?
No. They don't work anymore.
I don't want to do them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was our Never Have I Ever. Feel free to send us some Never Have I Evers.
Ooh, yeah. Drop like the ones that really resonated.
Yeah. There are some good ones.
There's some good ones for sure.
But this was a fun one. Thank you for listening.
Of course. So like I said of course as if I was Thank you for thanking me for listening.
Thank you so
like
much.
I said,
Coach Kelsey,
Uh,
for being in my presence today.
in the show notes, there is a link to our Beyond the Start cohort. Registration ends on the 22nd of June, so you have about 4 days left as this podcast is releasing. If you want to book a call, I'll also include the calendar for that in the show notes. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.